Hello, I'm Dr. Mary Sue Green, and I want to welcome you to Professional Ethics in Marriage and Family Therapy. I really like to teach this class. It's actually one of my favorite classes. I did serve on the Iowa Association for Marriage and Family Therapy Ethics Board for 5 years, and I've also done presentations on ethics in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Now, I do have to let you know right up front that I love to present. I like to teach. I like being in front of people, but I really don't like being stage. You would think I had gotten used to that, videotaping all my sessions when I was in grad school, but it just didn't work out that way for me. So we'll see how I do. This is actually my second try because I started sneezing during the first one and decided to delve in how to do that. So here's a question I have. When you think of ethics and you think of mental health professionals, what comes to mind? My view is that the vast majority of the teaching that a therapist would not have practiced. But that's often what people think of first when they think of science, mental health professionals. You might want to take a look at basically in my because there's a lot of things we're going to look at this term, and I know you're going to look at the syllabus and have to do the work. But one of the things that always interests me, it all interests me, but one of the things we're going to talk about is layers of values. First of all, we have our personal values. You have values, I have values. These are our beliefs. This is how we try to live our life. Our personal values answer the question, who am I? Just, who am I? What are my beliefs? We also have professional values. And these professional values we get through relationships. We get to the therapeutic practices in our field of study. And also traditions. What are the traditions in our field of study? Professional values actually answer the question, what do I do? Then we have institutional values, and institutional values also affect our clinical practice. And these actually come from agency settings, managed care systems, licensure boards, just to name a few. And at times, these three levels of values do not match. So what do we do then? For example, let's say you're seeing a family and you want to see them for 10 sessions. But the managed care system, their insurance company, comes back and says you get 3 sessions with this family. We need to figure out how to deal with that. Now, I'm not sure what everybody's specialty is here, but I'm thinking in terms of marriage and family therapists, and there is something that makes us unique because we don't just work with individuals. We do the majority of our work with couples and with therapists. Couples and therapists. Couples and families. Yay, I'm human. And so what we have in the room is an entire family. These family members have different perspectives. They have different ideas. They have different values. Their values may be the same or different than ours. Their experiences may be different than ours. Their cultures are different than ours. So we have to figure out how we're going to work ethically with this entire family. How do we explain confidentiality? How do we explain informed consent? Let's say we have a 7-year-old in the room, a 13-year-old, and 1 or 2 parents. How are we going to explain these so everyone understands? What if we have a grandmother, a 7-year-old, and a 10-year-old? How do we explain the limits of confidentiality? How do we explain mandatory reporting so that these children understand it, but yet we're not talking down to the grandmother? As you start clinical practice, something that I can guarantee you're going to learn about is doorknob confessions. This is not something that I came up with. It's something that you'll probably read in some of your materials. This happens when you have a family in the room and everybody leaves except one person. And they stop with their hand on the doorknob and they say, I thought you should know I'm filing for a divorce. Wife's already out of the room. Or a woman stops at the door and says, I thought you should know that I'm having an affair, but don't tell my husband. Or a man stops at the door and says, my same-sex partner hurts me. An adolescent stops, comes from a child. She stops and she looks back at you and says, I cut myself every day. The cute little boys that you're working with, 8 and 10, mom and dad head out to make the next appointment. They stop at the door. The 10-year-old turns around and looks at you and says, Mommy locks us in the closet when Daddy's not home. Or you look into the sad, empty eyes of the 7-year-old who's dragging his feet. And he turns to you and he says, I want to kill myself. How do we deal with these family secrets? We're going to find some ideas in our book. These are unique ethical considerations that people that work with individuals don't run into. The time for us to learn what we want to do in these situations should be learned before we ever go into the therapy room. We need to have a plan. We need to have a decision-making model in place. Because when these things happen, they really happen unexpectedly. And if we already have an idea of how we're going to make ethical decisions and what we're going to do, it just gives us a hand up when these potential ethical violations or situations actually come into play. We're going to start to understand our role or roles in the legal field. We're going to start to understand some of the general principles of family law. And I say general principles because what we need to keep in mind, and as you're going to see from your assignments, is that we're governed by several different codes. So all of us as clinicians are going to be covered by the codes of our national organizations. The AAMFT, the ACA, the APA are going to be covered at that level. And then each of us in our different states are going to be governed by the state code. Ideal situation, these codes match. Sometimes they don't match. So you need to abide by both and figure out how you're going to do that. Finally, we have our professional identity. Now, I don't know what profession or what field you're going into, but it is strongly encouraged that you join your national organization, and specifically that marriage and family therapy students join the American Association for Marriage and Family Therapy. This is our national organization that supports and advocates for us at the national level. In fact, as we start this term, I'm going to be presenting at the national conference in Milwaukee. So if you're watching this Friday or Saturday, I'll be presenting next Thursday. So if you're going to the conference, you now know what I look like. Keep a lookout for me. Stop, introduce yourself, and say hello. After you read this or watch this entire welcome message, you need to go over to the faculty expectation document and read that, as well as the expectations of council and program learners, because those two documents are going to give you a lot of foundational information that you'll need to be successful in this class. Make sure you print them so that you can refer back to them as we go through the term. I don't want to leave you until I give you a few tips. Do watch due dates, because I do, so make sure you're getting things turned in on time. Second, you're going to be turning in your assignments in 3 different places. I do use Turnitin, which should be a tab on the left side of your Blackboard screen. And then you will also submit your assignments in the area that is designated in the actual unit for the assignment. And then some assignments are going to be uploaded into your ePortfolio. So make sure you look for that on my faculty expectations message so you know where to turn things in. At Capella, it's also expected that all of our master's and doctoral students are writing at the graduate level. So it's a good idea to have your APA manual out read those first 4 chapters and plan on improving your writing as you move through this term. I really am focused on APA because I think it's really important for us as professionals to be able to write professionally. Some people say to me, well, I'm only going to be a therapist. And that may be, but you're still going to be writing case notes, you're going to be writing case summaries, you're going to be communicating with your supervisor and others. And so good writing skills are a must because it reflects on you and it reflects on our field. In the updates and handouts section, I posted a few things. One's an APA quiz. Go ahead and test yourself, see what you think. If you take the quiz, send me an email. I'll send you the key so you make sure you have the right, true, and false answers. I also posted some other documents. They are all optional, but I think you'll really find them interesting if you have time to read them. My tips are getting a little long, but make sure you look at all aspects of every assignment because the criteria is different for every discussion board. The criteria is different for every response to a discussion board. You need to meet 2 criteria. The criteria outlined for the discussion board and response, as well as the criteria that is in the scoring guide for the discussion boards. Same with assignments. Make sure you cover all the criteria and that you've reviewed the scoring guide thoroughly to make sure you're hitting all the points that I'm actually grading you on. I think that's all I have for today. Again, welcome to Professional Ethics in Marriage and Family Therapy. Thank you for taking time to watch this video all the way to the end. And if you're watching it, that means I got it on YouTube and got it downloaded for you. I hope you enjoy taking this class and learning the material as much as I enjoy teaching this class. So until I see you again, it's Dr. Mary Sue Green saying, go out and make it a great day. Bye.